Totally worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We're having people coming all the way from New Hampshire, New York,
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yeah,
Delaware, New
great.
Jersey, Virginia, Manassas.
Wow.
Yes, nice.
Wow.
All right.
So
We are
nice.
live. Awesome. So it's great to have you all here. I'm Odette Ramos. I'm the councilwoman for the 14th District in Baltimore City, and I'm so excited to be doing these town halls again. In the fall, we took the summer off because no one's going to listen to me at 8 o'clock at night when it's so nice outside. So it's so great to do these again, and I'm really, really excited to welcome my good friends here as part of our series on celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month, and it's a very exciting month. It started October 15th and excuse me, September 15th. I know we'll talk about that in a minute, and goes into October 15th. And the reason that our month goes a little differently than everybody else's is because of course it would, it's us. And secondly, there's actually a lot of dates of Independence Days for various countries within Latin America during this time frame. And so that's why it's a different month. So just I was curious about that, and that was the answer. So I'm so excited to have our two guests, and then next week we'll also have a celebration as well. First is Monica Guerrero Vasquez. She is with Centro Sol, and Angelo Solera, who is with Nuestras Raices. And before we get into that, just a couple of announcements. One is the Friday is October 1st, and it is a very important day. Your homeowner's property tax credit applications are due. So if you own your home and earn less than $60,000, please apply for this credit so that you can lower your property tax debt. And then also the plastic bag ban is in effect. And so that means that the stores will not have plastic bags. They'll have an alternative bag, but they'll make you pay for that bag. So we want you to bring in your own reusable bags. And so call our office if you need to get a bag. And then on October 16th, we'll talk more about that, but we're hosting a job fair at the Waverly Y. And I think that will be very exciting as well. So those are my announcements. So let's get to our celebration. So the first thing I want to do is, again, welcome my guests and have them talk about who they are and also the organizations that you're with. So Monica, you want to go first?
Sure. Yeah. Can you hear me well?
Yes.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Councilwoman Ramos, and I am very happy to be here. Hello, everyone. I know it's super late, and we're getting ready to go to bed, but I'm very, very happy to be here. So I am Monica Guerrero Vasquez. I work at Centro Sol, the Center for Health and Opportunities for Latinos. We are based at Johns Hopkins Bayview in the southeast area of Baltimore City. And the reason we are there is really strategic because, as you know, it's the heart of the Latino community here in the city. And as you probably have seen the recent census data, the Latino population has increased more than 76% in the city. That's a big explosion. And really, the way that I see it is like there was a big explosion of, of colors and flags and people from all over Latin America that started in the Highland town in Southeast Baltimore that then is spread out throughout the city. And we have seen that, we are witnessing that every day, which is wonderful. So Centro Sol was established in 2013 with funding from a private foundation called the Strauss Foundation here in the city. And it was matched by Johns Hopkins for a period of time. And we have been working to better understand Latinos in the city and to better serve and provide services to improve the quality of life that they have. The center's mission is to promote equity in health and opportunities for Latinos. And we work in different areas that I'll be happy to provide more information about. But particularly what we want is to advance clinical innovations through prevention of disease, promotion of equity to access healthcare and health services. We want to promote the diversity of the workforce. We need more bilingual healthcare providers, bilingual and bicultural, and that's something that we need to get ready, or we need to be ready now before it's too late, right? And we also want to be able to support the policies that we are implementing. So we have a work group that basically observe the implementation of healthcare policies and public health policies and how they are being implemented in the community, how they are providing services to non-English speakers, undocumented individuals, and the mixed immigration status families. And we provide guidance about how to better implement those policies, or if there is any need for policy change. And then the core and the heart for the work that we do is community outreach. So really everything that we do is informed by our community. Our communities report and tell us what they need and what we should be doing, what we need to improve. And yeah, we're trying to be present and collaborate. And I'm very happy to be here also with Angelo. I've known him for many years since he was in the LPN, and now collaborating for Fiesta Latina and all that. For this month, we have many activities, and I encourage everybody to visit our social media and our website and our calendar of events. This month, September, is a suicide prevention month, so we don't talk too much about it. There is a lot of stigma around mental health. So we have been trying to share more information and resources about mental health, particularly the bilingual and bicultural services and information education for our community. And then the upcoming events we have on October 15th, an hour with experts. So there are going to be providers, mental health providers, and faith representatives talking about how we can better address mental health and talk about mental health in our Latino community in Spanish. And it's going to be virtual on Facebook. So from the comfort of your house, you can watch that, and particularly share with other members of the community and providers who are interested in addressing the mental health issues and untreated mental illnesses in our communities.
And that is really important, because our community is such that we don't always like to ask for help. We don't always like to, show weakness. And so the fact that you're really talking about these issues in a public way and really educating people on, particularly in our community, about health and mental health in particular. And we're going to talk about COVID in a second. But I want to just thank you so much for everything that you've been doing for our community for so long. So thank you so much. Angelo, so tell us about Nuestras Raices and about this really amazing event that's coming up this weekend.
So Nuestras Raices is an organization, a cultural organization that I founded 3 years ago. I am the founder and the executive director. Our mission is to educate, promote, and preserve the richness and diversity of the Latino culture and heritage throughout the Baltimore metropolitan region. How we want to accomplish that is by having two separate components, if you want to put it that way. One of them is educate the American public about who the Latino community really is. There is a lot of misconceptions about who we are and where we come from and what we do and what we don't. So how do you educate people is you expose people to something they don't know. And hopefully they will learn from that experience. The other component is to reconnect Latinos to their culture. There are many Latinos in Baltimore City and in the United States who have immigrated to the United States many years ago, and they have not had the opportunity to go back home And so they are in America working, trying to make a living, and they are getting disconnected from their culture. You also have many US born children of Latino descent, Latino parents who have never visited their homelands, their parents' homelands, and they don't know anything about their culture. And they are US citizens because they are born here. But their name is Ramirez, Sanchez, Guerrero, Ramos, Solera, and so on and so on. And they will always be Latino. They'll always be seen as Latino. But, you know, if they lose their culture, their heritage, their language, they become what? So I think it's important for us to reconnect the children to their culture. And that's the mission of our organization. And how do we do that? We organize community cultural events. And this Sunday coming up in a couple of days, Sunday, October 3rd, we organizing our third annual event, which is called Fiesta Baltimore. Fiesta Baltimore includes two separate events. One event is a Latino Cultural Festival in Patterson Park from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. and the third annual Latino Parade of Nations that starts at 2 p.m. in Highlandtown. We call it Latino Parade of Nations because that's what they are. They are nations. They are not bands. They are not boys. They are not friends. They are nations with cultures and language and heritage. And there are people here who come from 25 different nations. The Latino community is composed of people who come from many different places. And that brings, with that, we bring a lot to the American culture itself. So the Latino Parade of Nations will start at 2 o'clock in Highlandtown. We will shut down Highlandtown and Eastern Avenue, and we will parade through the streets. We have marching bands, folkloric groups, trucks, cars, floats, horses, people, children, schools, colleges, universities, cultural organizations, community organizations. The mayor is going to be there. The president of the city council is going to be there. Council person, Sid Cohen is going to be there. Odette Ramos is going to be there. And a whole lot of other people and thousands of people from the Latino community. What we're trying to do with this event is not just promote our culture, but we want to invite the American community to really come out and experience something different. The event is free and open to the public. It doesn't get any cheaper than that. All right. It is a family community event. And we want people to feel what it is to be Latino for one day, whether it is by eating something or maybe dancing or maybe watching a folkloric group coming from somewhere in the Andes or whatever, to really experience something different. Because as I mentioned today on the TV report that they did this afternoon, is all of us are not Mexican. All of us do not eat tacos. All of us are not illegal aliens. All of us are not many things that people think of us. There are many of us, and we are not coming to Baltimore. We've been in Baltimore for a long time. We ain't going nowhere. There is a lot of children who are Baltimoreans of Latino descent who are living here for years, and they will continue to do so. So the parade is trying to do a little bit of advocacy, but in a different way, trying to really expose the richness and diversity. And why we do that is because when you're trying to bring together people from 25 different nations, that's not an easy task. Even though most of us speak Spanish, but there is a lot of differences among ourselves. But we realize that through the culture, we can really bring people together. And who is not proud of their culture? Who doesn't like to dance and experience diversity and music and food and just, you know, wave your flag and wear your colors and be proud of who you are, and you know, not being afraid and not thinking about something's going to happen, because that day is your day. And after going through COVID-19 and everything that everybody has gone through, we think it's a great experience to really enjoy life and enjoy Baltimore, and to send a message to Baltimore that we are here. You need to stop ignoring us, and you need to open the doors, really open the doors, and realize that there's many of us, and things need to change. So that there's also, again, an advocacy move there to really it's one thing to say something, it's another thing to experience what is going to happen here on Sunday. So I'm very excited to be part of that. Obviously, I'm just one person. We have a group of very dedicated people who are members of the board of directors of Nuestras Raices Inc., who are working very hard. Putting in an event together like this, it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of networking, a lot of phone calls and emails, and people doing different things. And, we are very excited. I'm very tired, but it's good tired. Have a lot of conversations with people, and I'm just looking forward to Wednesday. Sunday. This is our third annual event, so I sort of know what to expect. But I think people expecting more every year. So
Right.
it's like you have to figure out something different. So people be like, oh, that was better, So that's what's going on.
It's going to be great. I'm very excited about it. I'm been promoting it through our networks, and it is a great opportunity for our community to celebrate ourselves and share, the rich diversity and our culture. But also because our community is growing, it's an opportunity for people from all over Baltimore to get a sense of who we are, our culture, amazing food, amazing music, and also, just making sure that, we're make a statement that, we're here. So I'm very much looking forward to it. And I thank you for all your work, because I think that, we talking about our community is going to be important as we move forward, as our community grows. And you're right, many of us have been here for a long time. There are new people coming. And it's exciting that there's, really, there's an impact that we're already having, right, in our city, not only because we're able to serve the members of our community, but many members of our community are making a great impact. Isabel Cumming, she's our, Office of the Inspector General. She's Puerto Rican. We have both of you who are making a big difference. We have the folks at CASA and the leadership of Somos, and so many different people that are really getting involved. And I think for Latinos, when we go hard or go home, right? We're really out there. We do as much as we can, and I'm just so excited that we're able to share all of our culture on this day, but we are around all the time. So I think that it's great that you continue to do this. I wanted to ask you both a couple of questions as we celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month. And, I do feel it is my responsibility, one of my many responsibilities as the first elected Latina and Hispanic in Baltimore, to make sure to promote our culture, to be able to do the work that needs to be done for our community, but also for all of Baltimore. So how do you both see, since we're growing in population, since there's, so many of us here, how do we continue to, or what kind of impact do you see us having? And what does our city need to do? I mean, I continue to ask, the city administrator, we've got to hire more Latinos in the city government. And it's not just using language line, we've got to have people who are speaking the language, but also who are reflect the entire city. And, so that is one thing that I will be continuing to work on, is to make sure that we're doing that. But what are some other things that we're already doing, but that Baltimore also needs to get ready? I mean, Baltimore should have been ready. We're here, but there needs to be something to get ready. Monica, you want to start?
Yes, yes, I agree. I think with the growth of the Latino population, we need to see more bilingual and bicultural staff. But where do we get them? Where are the educated people that we can hire? Where are our bilingual teachers, our bicultural teachers? Where are our healthcare, bilingual and bicultural healthcare providers? I see a trend right now, especially during COVID, the importance of working with community health workers. Where do we hire them? How can we train them so that we can build a pipeline to be able to hire them? because we have very limited capacity right now. And I always think things in the way of like a generational gap. We have a very large Latino population that came here, who came here as adults to, you know, to find the American dream, to pursue the American dream, and find better lives for their families. And there is a gap, and then there's their children. So in between, we don't have enough capacity. I think there is a need for to advocate for having more bilingual. And I saw Angelo nodding and saying, yes, we need more bilingual, to hire more bilingual staff. But I would like to speak louder about the importance of building pipeline. You know, I've seen Angelo having a lot of people, like being a great, being a great leader and training people to then take on other positions. I think schools need to be more prepared. We're not training our youth we're not focused right now on training our youth on this idea of it is important to be bicultural and bilingual, right? The resettlement processes, the acculturation can hide, and the discrimination, the xenophobia can hide those important values, those important characteristics of individuals. It happened to me, you know. I didn't know I was a Latina until I came here. My accent changed, and then here you probably saw that many children born in Latino families don't speak their parents' languages. We see a gap in communication. So I guess my point is, yes, I agree. We have to hire bilingual staff, but we have to identify and start soon and build a pipeline to make sure that we have the workforce, that we have the workforce that we need in the future to build an equitable system in Baltimore. So I think that's going to be the shift, and that needs to be the change to make sure that we are prepared to serve the community, because the Latino population grew 76%. Did resources grow at the same pace? Do we have enough people to serve? We don't, and we need to pay attention to that. So, you know, just to and I'll let Angelo to contribute, because I'm sure he, with his experience, has a lot to say. But I would like to make a call to YouthWorks. That's a gigantic program and very important program in the city, and they don't have a bilingual manager in the program. So that's just a big gap there, and just from there, we are missing a lot of bilingual kids to be part of that. So building an infrastructure that is equitable and that builds a pipeline so we can have this bilingual staff sooner rather than later.
So I've lived in Baltimore for the past 40 years. I've been advocating for changes in the Latino community for the past 25 years, and I continue to do so today. I think the biggest problem Baltimore have is the lack of Latino representation across the board, period. Let's cut the BS, as they say, and let's get to work. There's a lot of talk going on, but we need to really make some structural changes. And I'm a passionate person, so sometimes I get passionate. But I think the leaders need to realize that changes need to occur. Baltimore City historically has been a black and white city. If you go to city government, that's what you see. But Baltimore City is not a black and white city anymore. People, black and whites, continuously live in the city, and Latinos continuously moving into the city. So clearly there is something going on, and I've been around too long and seen. Today, I see some changes in the new administration, but we really got to go a step higher than that. Latinos are rebuilding Baltimore. Every single house that has been rebuilt in Baltimore is rebuilt for the most part by Latinos. The roads are built by Latinos. The landscapings are maintained by Latinos. The restaurants where you go and eat are basically served by Latinos in the kitchen, and so on and so on and so on. So why is that when we go to a hospital, when we go to a school, when we go to a city government agency, we don't see Latinos? And people say, well, we can't find qualified people. There are many qualified people. I am one of those qualified people who for years struggle trying to get jobs because the system is set up not to allow me to do what I need to do. And there are others in the community who experience the same thing. So the city, and this is a message to the city, but also to the state, but the state is different. They need to create changes. If nothing changed, nothing changed. If all we do is just keep talking, it'll be another 10 years and we have the same problems. The problem that we have is that right now we have a large number of Latinos that are not being served the same way that other citizens get served. So when you create an unserved community, you have problems in the schools, in the healthcare systems, and so on and so on. And we cannot ignore that as a society because there are consequences. In most major cities in the United States have problems of drugs and crime and so forth. And a lot of that is related to lack of services, lack of access, lack of opportunities. And in Baltimore City, it's happening the same thing. What makes us different maybe as immigrants or maybe even Latinos is the fact that because we know that we got to go and get it. Nobody's going to give us anything. We just do whatever we have to get what we need to get instead of maybe waiting for somebody to give it to us because we know they're not going to give it to us. But it's for us, it's always a struggle. And, you know, I'm professional, I'm qualified, I speak English and all of that, but there are many people who don't have the expertise or the knowledge that I have that are not going to be able to access certain things. So the message to Baltimore is Baltimore needs to change. In the school systems, you have over 13% Latino children. You have 1% of Latino teachers. How is that possible?
Right.
How is that possible? You can't hire somebody to be a Latino. You have to hire Latino. And having bilingual staff and bilingual lines and all that stuff, that's very nice, very pretty. But in reality, it doesn't really do a whole lot. You need to have people that talk like us, look like us, and understand our community. Because we are investing, we are paying, we are contributing to Baltimore City, and Baltimore City need to invest in our community because we are investing in Baltimore. There is thousands of businesses in Baltimore City. There is thousands of taxpayers paying salaries and monies, and we don't get that in return. So I could talk about that all night long because that's my passion.
No, that's fine. I mean, we still are seeing it. I mean, like you said, the 13% of the kids in the schools are Latino, and we're not having the same proportion of teachers and services. I just talked with somebody the other day who they're still not doing hiring Latinos or even having translators in some of the emergency rooms. Even after COVID, you'd think that there would be, you know, those services. And then, of course, like I said before, working with the city to make sure that we have. And so, you know, we've got to create the pipelines, but also continue to advocate. So I'm really glad that both of you continue to do that. So for Hispanic Heritage Month, we look at our heritage and study and celebrate our heritage too. So I wanted to ask both of you, which Latino it has inspired you. Could be way back in history, could be somebody who we know now, you know, somebody who's been an influence on you. And so I'll start. One of my my great, I think you all have heard the story. My great grandmother, who I never got to meet, she was a, yes, I'll just back up and say when women were given the right to vote in the US and Puerto Rico was part of the US, that didn't include Puerto Rico. It did not include women in the, you know, all the territories and the colonies and all that. So my grandmother, my great grandmother was very involved in the suffrage movement to make sure that Puerto Rico women also got the vote. And she ran for office. So there's a book about her. It's very exciting. And my dad also says that I look like her, I talk like her. He used to take her to go vote as she was getting older, and she would argue with everybody in the voting booth when you're not supposed to do that, you know. So she's someone that my dad speaks very highly of, and so I stand on her shoulders and all of your shoulders and many others here in this particular role. So Monica?
Yeah, I like that question because it's, you can list many people.
I know,
Odette
there's so
Ramos
many.
is
There's so many.
someone who inspires me. But also, I don't know, the individuals I've met here in Baltimore. I can name many, like the tireless work of Franca Mueller-Paz was very inspiring, working with the youth and moving so much forward. Like I have seen some of the members of SOMOS being participating with the White House and with the Vice President, and Lucia Islas, who many of you know of her tireless work in the community and every day and every night. But I can name other people here. Yesenia Mejia, who's like promoting the culture and the traditions here. I don't know, and then health fighters. All these women are so inspiring. Like I love being surrounded by them because they, as a woman, I feel that the example that they put is just not appreciated as much as it should, right? Like I can think right now, Reina works every day trying to get food to people. She doesn't get paid by anybody. She just does it with with the love that she has for the community, trying to serve them and make sure that they don't miss a meal. And then in the national space, I do admire Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. I think a very young lady, Latina, who's she made it to where she is right now, and she makes it look as if it's very easy. You just have to work hard, but it takes more than just working hard, So I think that's inspiring, and that's Angelo mentioned, it has to be someone that looks like you. So I'm sure that there are many girls who will aspire to run to office in the future, thanks to the path that she's paving for many Latinas here. Yeah, many people. I think I can name many more, but just to name a few.
I know there's so many amazing people that we all work with every day who really step up to, find if there's a problem, they're going to go and they're going to step up and they're going to fix it. And that's I think all of the women that you've mentioned. And
I want to mention briefly, because I don't want to forget. I know some of them are watching this right now, and tomorrow my mom will watch this. Mm-hmm. But mommy and my sister and also all my aunts, like they built our family. They all migrated and they did an amazing job. So estoy muy orgullosa de mi mamá, de mi hermana y de mis tías por todo ese trabajo tan duro que han hecho para sacar a su familia adelante.
Yes, awesome. Yes, so many of us also are inspired by our family. So
I admire Cesar Chavez.
Mm-hmm.
I think Cesar Chavez did some amazing work. Someone a long time ago told me that I almost think I'm Cesar Chavez, and I was like, who is Cesar Chavez? So I had to do some research. I was like, oh, okay. But I also admire people who, through my developing journey, has helped me to be where I am. And there is a person named Dennis Lopez. Probably nobody knows him, but he was somebody who helped me tremendously many years ago when I was at the health department as the Hispanic community liaison. I had a lot of things that I want to do, but I have no clue. Mm-hmm. He came in and sort of guided me. And what I learned from that is that, like Monica was saying, is we need to train people, because unfortunately in our community, many people are not trained. Many people, they come from other cultures, other countries. They don't know this country. They don't know this culture. They don't know this system. And I think for us, we've been here for a while and have experiences. I think we have a responsibility to train other Latinos to be leaders. I practice that at Nuestras Raices, Inc. How do you get people to come to work for an organization for free? Mm. You teach them something. And if they realize they're learning something, they'll come back. Because when we're talking about volunteer work, it's not just one day for a couple hours, but when you have somebody volunteering for hours and hours, year after year, there is something going on in there. But they come in and they learn something, and I've realized that I have skills, I have knowledge that I can train other people. And many years ago, when I did this work, it was nobody there that could train me. It was very difficult. So that's why a lot of times I spend time to train people in our community, because we need them. It's not like you can go to the store and buy it. You can't get it at what is that, Amazon. It don't work.
Right.
You know, when Monica was talking about the pipeline of professionals is lacking. That is an issue, and I think we as a community understand that, and as leaders, we need to do something to change that. And then when the opportunities start opening up, they'll be able to fill those holes, if you want to put it that way. But I think Cortez, Ocasio-Cortez, is awesome. I love it. I think she's, when she talks, I'm like, you go, girl, give it to them. You know what I mean? And there are other Latino leaders out there who are doing some hard work, who inspire me and make me realize that I'm not crazy. You know what I mean? That there are other people out there who think the way I think, and who see the world that I see. And sometimes when I'm fighting something, I realize that I'm not alone, that there's people behind me, and I try to encourage others to, because change don't happen just because it happens. You have to force change. You have to really fight for it. And another person that I admire, it's not a Latino person, but I think in American history make a huge change, which is Martin Luther King. You know, he was an amazing person, and I like to study history and American history, and it's amazing what he did and the changes that he made. So, you know, Latino or no Latino is about changing the world and how we can make a difference. So maybe I'm getting a little older, maybe I'm becoming more like that, but I don't know. I think that it's important as we continue our journey to share what we know. I think if we don't share what we know, no one can benefit from. You know, I mean, if you have a lot of money in the bank, and you know, you can keep it on the bank, or you can just share it with people so others can enjoy, others can experience it. That's how I look at it. I try to teach people what I know, because I think their lives can better. And if I don't share it, what am I going to do with it? You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's the way I look at it.
Yeah, no, there's so many people who inspire us, and I know both of you inspire others. So I'm grateful to be working with you. And you know, so we can continue to celebrate our heritage on Sunday at Fiesta Baltimore. You know, we spoke a little bit about some of the challenges that our community faces and what we need to do, and talked about a pipeline, and I certainly have tried to do my role. My communications director, Yaslin Machuca, is wonderful, and she's, you know, able to, I think, hopefully is learning a lot from doing the work that we're doing. And I've started my work really around continuing the work that I did before in the housing space. And then we'll be branching out later. So, you know, there's a lot there that I think is also impacting our community. But one thing that really impacted our community a lot was COVID, right? We were the hardest hit community in Baltimore. And then, but I read recently that we're one of the highest groups actually vaccinated as well. And that's a tribute to both of you, actually, for all of your efforts getting people vaccinated. But I think that's very interesting, right? That we were one of the hardest hit, but then now we're one of the populations that's doing better in terms of vaccine. And so can you talk a little bit about your efforts to when the crisis first happened, but then now with, you know, getting people vaccinated, and that, because again, that's a big deal. We noticed a problem, tried to address it. Everybody's getting vaccinated, and there's still challenges. Not everybody is yet, but we still want to get them done. So Monica, talk a little bit about the Central Soul's work in COVID, and then, you know, how you're continuing to work to get everybody vaccinated.
Yes. So I would like to recognize and the tremendous effort that our co-director Kathleen Page has done throughout the pandemic, like working 24/7 to get people vaccinated. Literally, like she vaccinated people. Her work was like an explosion of dedication for the community. She mobilized Hopkins, she mobilized the health department in the city and the state to make sure that Latinos were accounted and were reached to get the vaccine. So much she did that she ended up having vaccine. She was one of the leaders. Like, I know, leaders have a lot of people around them, but she was one of the leaders to get the vaccine distribution clinics at Sacred Heart, which 21224 was one of the red areas in terms of COVID infections and really hospitalized patients who were seriously sick due to COVID. So yeah, I wanted to make sure that I mentioned that, not too much to give too much credit to me, but really to her, because she was able to vaccinate more than 5,000 people at Sacred Heart. And that came with a lot of effort, and that contributed to the numbers that we are seeing right now of the vaccination rates for Latinos. More than 50% have been vaccinated in the city. Those numbers will change a little bit. I think the city needs to update their denominators to account for the current census data. It has not been done yet. I do hope that becomes that gets updated soon. So we may see a little slight change in the rates, but definitely very high. And that was thanks to, in part, a lot to the community outreach, the community health workers, the community health worker program that worked at the health department, that hired CASA and made them, have the promotoras. They also had vaccine clinics there. And then work of organizations like Nuestras Raices that went to the parks and brought, vaccines to the community. And for us, the outreach that we did was through our food distribution side. We were able to collaborate with the health department and bring one of the pharmacies that were distributing vaccines. And then it has been a lot of outreach work, and we are partnering with the state health department. So we have a community health worker that gives out information about the vaccines. And then something important that we did, started before the summer, was we tried to understand what were the main barriers and facilitators to get people vaccinated. And we partner with multiple sites and universities throughout the country on a project called Community Vax that is informing right now policies. We are trying to present our findings to elected officials and to be prepared before the legislative session starts here. Councilwoman Ramos, that we have an expo on Sunday during Fiesta Latina to show the graphics of some of the results for this study, Community Vax, that we run locally, but that's part of a national coalition to understand what were Latinos experiencing in other states and other cities like Baltimore. So there are many things there, like the outreach and the underlying research that will explain the work, what worked and what didn't, so that we can do a better work in the future if something like this happens again. And then last thing I want to mention is that COVID has not gone yet. We have the Delta variant, but viruses change a lot and very quickly, and we should not be surprised if there is another variant coming up. So I encourage everybody to get vaccinated. The vaccines are the coat that protects us in a heavy rain. So I think we all need to advocate and speak to our friends and our neighbors about the importance of getting the vaccine to protect us from being hospitalized, and so that we can all be safe.
So Nuestras Raices, Inc. is not a healthcare organization. I have a healthcare background for many years. So we got involved in the vaccine in the Latino community. We created the Baltimore Vaccine Hunters, and we enroll hundreds of people to get in appointments to get vaccinated. We have done several vaccine clinics. We brought some clinics to soccer fields in Baltimore so people could get vaccinated. We are having a vaccine clinic on Sunday at the Fiesta Baltimore. Also, you know, a lot of people did a lot of work during COVID-19, but there is one person that I think it hasn't stopped, and that is Gina Baez from the Baltimore City Health Department. So Nuestras Raices named her Grand Marshal of the parade because of her work and her commitment. It was a way to say thank you for what you've done. And again, we should have more people as Grand Marshals, but we can only have one. But we do that because we recognize that as an organization, we can't just sit idle and let things happen, even though Nuestras Raices has nothing to do with vaccines at all. But we have used our network, our friendships and relationships to get people vaccinated and to cooperate. Me and Monica have spent many Saturdays donating food and carrying boxes of food for months. You know what I mean? Trying to feed people in the community because, you know, I feel blessed because I was healthy and I had a job and I had a house and food, but I know there was many people in our community that were really struggling. And, you know, we were helping there for months. This went on for a long time. You know, this COVID-19 has really affected the Latino community tremendously. And I think many of us in the community basically step up and say, okay, we need to get busy because the system can't handle it. And what COVID-19 has exposed is the huge need in Baltimore City to really change the way things are. Sacred Heart of Jesus Parish and step up and say we need to do something, schools and other organizations, and because if we didn't, who was going to do it? And nobody else was going to do it. You know what I mean? So I'm pretty proud of the work that I've done there, but that's my background in public health. I worked for 22 years in public health, and I know that we need to do what we need to do because if we don't do it, who's going to do it? So there you go.
Oh, I think that was one of the things about the pandemic that happened is that everybody said, wait a second, what can I do? What can I do to help? What can I, so, even though Nuestras Raices, that's not really what you do, but you've got the background. So let's get it done, and Monica and Gina and, so many people just, chimed in and said, hey, how can we do it? And we saw it all over the city in so many different ways. So, and we still have, in my district, we've got two box distribution, grocery box distribution still. And that's all volunteer driven. They do it, the city delivers and, they just do it. And to have that amazing network is just something that, can be utilized for so many different things. So, everybody got a chance to step up. And Monica, you're right. It's not over. We need everybody vaccinated so that we could try to get out of this a lot better. And hopefully we're not losing any more of our community and our city, members of our city to this virus. And it has long-term impacts. I mean, even if you're hospitalized or if you get it, you still have a constituent who still is having lung problems. So it's a really serious thing. But it is something that caused us a lot to come together. So, but thank you very much for both of you for taking time with us to, end our great session here with something that you'd like to say positive about our community, about Baltimore, or about the work that you're doing, or any other reminders or anything that we should know about. Monica, you want to go, and then we'll end with Fiesta Baltimore.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. So it's not positive necessarily, but it's important to mention this. 10 million people, 10 million Latinos in the U.S. have been diagnosed with a mental illness, and many are untreated. In Baltimore City, we have encountered the toll of mental health is affecting our community very, very heavily. There's a lack of healthcare access, a lack of bilingual therapists. and just the healthcare access. Even if there were bilingual therapists, the lack of healthcare access will make it very difficult for people to access mental health care. And there's also a lot of stigma. So more than 60% of respondents in one of our surveys said that they think depression is a matter of, it's a weakness. It's a weakness trait from an individual. So we have a campaign running right now called Fortalece tu Bienestar, strengthening your well-being. That has been informed by community members who told us what they think and how we can be better at educating in the community about mental health and depression. And we are piloting depression treatment in our community to see how we can do it in a way that is sustainable and accessible for individuals who don't have insurance. So there is going to be more to come about it. We definitely need funding to make sure that we can replicate this program. But the campaign is online now, and you will see in our social media and also on our website. It's entirely in Spanish, and you can share it with providers and community members to give them more information and available and accessible resources that we have so far in the community for individuals to access some type of treatment or support. So it's called fortalecebaltimore.org, and I can share more information in the chat, or you can just check our social media for more information. And it was really great to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, I want to connect you also with we have a clinic in my district called Shepherd's Clinic up on Kirk Avenue by City College, and they serve people that do not have insurance. And so I've always thought that there needed to be that partnership, so that maybe there's ways to anyway, I think it would be great. So Angelo, end us with more details about the weekend and anything else you want to say. There's our flyer right there. There we are. Yeah, it's going to be great.
So I think that the work continues. This is a never-ending journey, I guess. The community continues to grow, and we hope that the powers that be make the changes necessary and look at it as something that you have to do. It's not whether you know or not you want to do it. It's the fact that you got to do it.
You have to. Yeah.
Our community continues to grow strongly, and Sunday is it's a big date, I think, for us to be happy, to be proud of who we are, to for one moment forget about reality and just indulge into our culture and stuff. And then Monday we'll have to go back to work and take care of everything else. But hopefully on Sunday our mental status will be like free from reality, and we can just experience a little bit of that. And coming again, Sunday, October 3rd from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. in Patterson Park, and the Parade of Latino Nations at 2 o'clock in Highlandtown. You can stop by Highlandtown or somewhere on Eastern Avenue and watch the parade, and then go to the festival and bring your neighbors and your friends and family members and just enjoy a beautiful day. Hopefully weather cooperates, and but if it rains, don't worry, we want to keep going on, because rain is another.
Yeah, we don't stop. We're good partiers. We don't stop.
We work too hard to let some water just stop us. So, but
we party too hard, and we don't worry about it.
I'm looking forward to it, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to be here and express my thoughts and my views, and look forward to continue working with you and with Monica, and do what I do now for many years.
Right. Well, thank you both so very much for being here. I know you're so busy. It's been a long day, I'm sure, but this has been wonderful. And I really appreciate everything that you all are doing. And to our audience, thanks for listening. And next week, we will have another Hispanic Heritage series. And I'm very, very excited about that. So we'll see you then. And until then, good night. Have a great night. Thank you.
Buenas noches.
Bye.
Buenas
Thank
noches.
you.
Adios.
Adios.